Sylvia Ganier, and we are at Green Door Gourmet in the Green Door Gourmet Kitchen. We are brought to you by Amber Falls Winery, and today we're going to feature their blackberry wine. But what is Amber Falls? Take a look. We'll be right back.
Joie de vivre, and that's Cajun for the joy of life. Amber Falls Winery invites you to share our family heritage and to experience the fruits of our labor. We take the best that nature has to offer and give it our own special touch to create award-winning wines crafted just for you. Enjoy them in our underground tasting cellar or ask for Amber Falls wines at your favorite liquor store. Amber Falls Winery, Hampshire, Tennessee. We'll bring out the Cajun in you.
Lots of times I get questions, when should I take my feeder down? Grandma told me that I need to take my feeder down at Halloween or by October 15th, because if I don't take my feeder down, those hummingbirds are going to stay and they're going to die, they're going to succumb to the cold. Well, I'm here to tell you that Grandma was wrong. No amount of food will keep your birds here during the winter, unless they decide to stay because they can make a living. And what I mean by when I say make a living is that they can find nectar and they can find insects and so on and so forth. But most birds will depart when their hormones tell them to go, and they will head down into the Yucatan Peninsula. However, if you choose to leave your feeder up, you might be one of the lucky few who get one of our western birds. We have 16 species of hummingbirds that call the North America home, and 15 of them are west of the Mississippi. And those are the birds that are known as our winter hummingbirds. If you choose to leave a feeder up, you might get one of those vagrant western birds. And it was long thought that these birds might be lost, or that they were sick, or that there was something wrong with them. But by banding them and following them for near 40 years now, we've discovered that there's nothing wrong with these birds, that birds are efficient, and if they can come to Tennessee or Alabama or Mississippi or Louisiana, and they can find nectar and insects, why go all the way down in the Yucatan Peninsula and chance that migration journey? So you can leave your feeder up if you choose, and you might get one of these birds. This is called a rufous hummingbird. He is our most frequent winter bird here in Tennessee. He is known as one of the feistiest of the hummingbirds. He's a little bit smaller than a ruby throat, and he commutes annually between Mexico and Alaska. He makes one of the longest flights relative to body length of any bird in the world. So you might have him at your feeder if you choose to leave up a winter feeder. Or you might get one of these. This is the second most frequent visitor, and it is called a black-chinned hummingbird. Its breeding territory is the western U.S., northern Mexico, and down into British Columbia. And they look, young and females look exactly like your ruby throats, and it's not until we get them in our hands that we can identify them as black chins. So if you have a ruby throat, what you think may be a ruby throat at your feeder because you've left a feeder up and it's after November 15th, I certainly want to hear from you, because it could be one of these black-chinned hummingbirds. You could also have any one of these birds as well. The bird in the left upper corner is an Allen's hummingbird. It breeds in a narrow strip of coastal California and southern Oregon. Next to it is a lovely bird called a broad-tailed hummingbird, and this guy breeds in the mountains of California to western Texas and Mexico. Below the Allens is a calliope. She's our smallest hummingbird in North America, and they breed in British Columbia, Washington, Idaho, Oregon, Nevada, California, and east into Wyoming, Utah, and Colorado. The next one is a broad-billed hummingbird, and you'll notice that one has a nice bright red bill, that adult male, and it breeds in southeast Arizona and throughout Mexico. And finally, the one next to it is called an Anna's hummingbird, and that breeds in southern British Columbia, southern Alaska, and the Baja of California into Texas, and it's quite a big bird. But any of these, you might have any of these birds in your yard. And if you see one of those hummingbirds, I certainly hope that you will call Southeastern Avian Research and let us know that you have a bird. And then we would love to come to your house, band that bird, and record that bird so it becomes part of our winter research study. So if you choose to leave your feeders up and you have a hummingbird after November 1st and before March 15th, I'd certainly love to hear from you.
We're going to talk spoons. Now, I bet you didn't know that spoons had a lot of detail. Well, there are a lot of different kinds of spoons. You know, teaspoon, tablespoon. A lot of people know that, and you know serving spoons. But we're going to talk about spoons and how to get them looking this good, too.
Yes, and how to take care of things that might be family heirlooms. We're talking about getting ready for holiday tables or entertaining any time of the year. And you want to make sure when you bring out your nice stuff that you're taking good care of it so it lasts for the next generation as well. We want to be able to pass it along, right?
I love it.
That's a Southern thing.
It is a Southern thing. Know how to entertain.
So tablespoon and teaspoon, you hear that used a lot in cooking. When you hear that in a recipe, you want to get a true measuring spoon. You don't want to use a spoon like this because there's so much variety. You know, this teaspoon might look totally different than a spoon that's like this, which is a similar teaspoon size, but it's not an actual teaspoon. So there can be too much confusion. Just get out your measuring spoons and use that for your cooking.
Yeah. You don't cook with these.
No.
Don't even be tempted.
No. Don't cook with these. That's not what you do. All right, so let's talk about the difference between stainless steel, silver plate, and sterling silver. So stainless steel is the American go-to for everyday stuff. Snag it, grab it, and go. It can still look really pretty, have a lot of nice decorative things on it right here, but this is stainless steel. It feels a little bit lighter, a little bit different. Stainless steel feels different than silver plate. And then you move over and you've got silver plate. And this would be an example of silver plate. It feels a little rougher than the stainless steel, which feels very, highly polished.
And that's like silver over stainless?
Silver over another base metal.
Okay.
Typically, if it's English silver plate, it might be over copper or brass or something like that, but plate would go over it. And the thicker the plate, it will say on the back, ESPN. And that means extra fine silver plate.
ESPN's a whole different thing for our sports listeners.
There you go.
We had it first, y'all, in the kitchen.
And then you move into the sterling silver. It's going to feel heavier, and sterling will always have a mark. It will either say sterling, you might see a lion's head, or the shape of a lion on the back, or you might see 925.
Yes, that's the number I always look for, yeah.
So anything other than 925, it's not 100% sterling silver. You might see 800 sterling or 800, but that's not official true sterling silverware.
So when you're buying sterling silver, maybe you're going to one of the social media apps and you're going to Marketplace or one of those things, and they're saying that it's sterling and it's not. If you look and it doesn't have 925 or the lion's head, don't pay for sterling if it's not sterling.
Yes, and the other thing you can always look for, in addition to the lion's head, if it's British, you can see the different numbers or letters that you might see, or a maker's mark. So you would be looking for that. So now that we've talked about that, you never ever put sterling, even though they tell you you can put it in the dishwasher. Please don't put it in the dishwasher. Use it and wash it immediately. If you let food sit on sterling, it can immediately pit or tarnish the sterling. So that's the one thing. You might leave your plates till the next day, but go ahead and wash your sterling silver if you're using your nice sterling. Silver plate, you have a little more leniency. You can have it for lunch and then not wash it until supper. And this, you can leave in your dishwasher for however long you decide to let it sit in your dishwasher.
That's why stainless steel is the go-to.
Exactly. So we talked about the different kinds. Now let's talk about the different shapes and what they're used for. So I thought this would be fun, thinking about holiday stuff and different things you could use it for. So soup season is upon us, and you will see a lot of people when they put out soup spoons, they make a mistake and they put out a teaspoon that doesn't hold enough spoon for someone like me. I really
I hate
like
that.
more on that. So if you're going to use a traditional one that you already have in your drawer, use a tablespoon as your soup spoon for that. If you're going a little more fancy, you're going to go into one of 3 different types of spoons. You're going to either have your bouillon spoon, smaller. You see, it would just hold mostly broth bouillon.
Yeah.
Or a cream soup spoon, which
Okay.
is a little deeper
Yeah.
and a little bit bigger. So that's your creamy tomato or your bisque or something like that.
Exactly.
And then for my good Louisiana girl here, we have the gumbo spoon.
I love it. That's the kind of spoon I want right there.
It can hold up to something a little bit harder, that piece of okra or that piece of sausage.
Chili.
You got it.
For
So
those upscale chili nights. I love it. It'll hold you Fritos too.
absolutely, 1 corn chip garnished
Yeah,
on top of
there you
that
go.
spoon.
There you go.
All right, and then we'll come over and let's talk about some other fun spoon shapes, just because we can.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a sugar spoon, or sometimes called a sugar snifter. It has that, you can sprinkle your sugar through
Oh,
it.
okay.
So you scoop it and then sprinkle. This is a jam spoon. I'm sorry, this is the jam spoon. I'm looking at them saying different things. And this is the actual grapefruit.
Oh, it's got
See,
a
it's
little
got the
point
point.
on the end.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, and then this is a jam spoon, and this is one with Bakelite. This is one of the early acrylic materials that started being produced, so these are really kind of highly sought after. This never goes in the dishwasher,
No.
ever, because it'll
Don't ask
crack
me
it.
how I know. It does. It cracks it and it'll completely come apart. So don't put them in a dishwasher.
So this does have kind of a more pointed head like this to get down and get the jam out, but it's a little different than the grapefruit spoon, which is meant to get out one step.
Okay.
Okay?
How
Here,
many of you knew that there was a grapefruit spoon? I didn't.
this is a Demitasse spoon for when you have your fancy little coffee to go along with your fancy little chili with Frito on top.
Demitasse, those cute little teacups too.
And this is a fancy, come on Devon, you can get it. You put it in a glass of cold ice,
Oh, iced tea?
iced tea spoon.
Okay, an
And-
iced tea spoon.
And
Oh my
check it
gosh.
out. It actually has a straw that is part of the spoon. That's pretty fun.
You
Huh?
probably work with just some
There you go.
sangria too with some Amber Falls wine too.
You got that right.
Yes.
All right. Now this is a lettuce spoon. You use it when you're doing a salad. It's got those prongs that you can reach down there and get that lettuce with it.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Berry spoon. These typically have berries embossed in them, and they come as a set a lot of times.
A berry spoon. I didn't even know they made such a thing.
Yes, indeed. And then we'll go on to our serving spoons. So this is a typical vegetable spoon for serving vegetable dishes. So your peas and beans and that sort of thing. Then here, this is called a basting spoon. So if you would be serving something that you wanted to put gravy, that gravy, au jus, over, this is your basting spoon. And then last but not least, this is a serving spoon. And this, the longest guy on the table, is a rice spoon, because you always wanted people to have extra rice.
There you go.
So that's the shortcut lesson in different spoons and how to take care of them.
I love it. And what's your favorite silver polish?
Elbow grease.
Elbow grease in the right kind of cloth. What kind of cloth?
You want a very soft cloth. You want nothing that scratches, because silver is a soft metal. It's not as soft as gold, but it is still soft and it will show every scratch. So I like right silver polish, so I use right silver polish and a sponge and elbow grease. A lot of people don't know that if you go to polish your silver and you use the rights and it looks really good, you're almost done. You're not done yet. You want to wash it with Dawn dishwashing liquid one more time to make sure none of that paste is on there.
Okay.
Because
Get the residue.
if the residue or the paste dries on there, it's almost impossible to get it off. So once you polish, you still have to wash and dry. And you'll have beautiful looking silver.
Yeah, you don't sit it around, you know. Look, remember that commercial? Look, I can see myself.
Yes, you got that.
That's what you want.
Yeah.
We're at Green Door Gourmet, and this is Devon's table and Sylvia's table to know your spoons. We'll be right back.
I get all my pieces from Goodwill or flea markets and I bring them home and shine them up and they look beautiful. But for my new subscribers, I wanted to share with you how I get my silver so sparkling and clean. This mini tarnished silver tea set I got from the flea market for $5. This tarnish is what many people pass up on because it's not so pretty. Using all-purpose polish from Wright's is great for polishing silver-plated pieces. In fact, it's gentle enough for all silver pieces. For less than $5, you will get 8 ounces of this cream, along with an applicator sponge. You can get it from your local Walmart or Target. All you do is dampen the sponge, apply some of the cream, and clean your pieces. Rinse with water and watch the magic happens. It's instantly clean. Let me show you again. On the silver platter, I will do half to show you the remarkable difference. Amazing, right? It removed the tarnish. Just buff with a soft cloth and it will have a beautiful shine. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick tip. Please like and share and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Be My Guest with Denise, and I want to thank you all for watching.
Discover one-of-a-kind wines in a special place naturally made for relaxation. Amber Falls Winery and Cellars. Descend into our underground cellar and taste award-winning wines. Cajun Best is one of our most intriguing creations. Real Cajun spices are used to give this sweet red blend its distinctive flavor. Get away to where good times and good wines come naturally. Amber Falls Winery and Cellars, where a great start leads to a great finish.
We are not just chicken. We started a movement, celebrated chefs, proud parents, raised on family farms with no antibiotics ever. Springer Mountain Farms, fresh chicken. Find at your local grocer.
When I moved here and we opened Chauhan Ale and Masala House, what I was hoping to create is a restaurant which not only very proudly showcased Indian ingredients, Indian cuisine and Indian techniques, but also became a very integral part of the community. It's important to keep your roots. I grew up in India. This is the cuisine that I grew up on. But it's also very important to assimilate it in the community, which has now become your home. And to me, what I loved about Nashville, other than the people and the place, was the food. The soul of the food, the story of the food. To me, it is relating to the community, relating to the food, but still keeping my signature. And I hope to be a voice that can make an effective change in the community.
Find great chefs and grocery stores serving fresh, antibiotic-free chicken at springermtn.com.
We are talking with Sage Creek Farm. Owner, operator Andrea and Brandon Sandifer found an overgrown piece of property with a tiny, dilapidated house toward the back. Their first purchase for Andrea and Brandon was a tractor. As they started clearing, they found an old trailer filled with hornets' nests, an old barn with a roof that would weather way too many storms, but most of all, they found a dream. Andrea put her vision into reality as the land cleared into rolling green and the gentle sound of Sage Creek beckoned at the back of the property, beginning at the tiny house which they repaired and renovated and lived in. As they built the main house at the front of the property, it was the way everyone reacted to the place that kept them moving forward. A beautiful event barn made way for an open-air pavilion, an event deck on Sage Creek, a catering cabin, an old shed turned groom's cigar and bourbon hangout. Of course, they needed more bathrooms, so a trip to a reuse and reclamation charity for some buildings at a bargain, some paint, some hard work, and they were transformed. Oh, and that little dilapidated house is now a gorgeous bridal suite with 2 bedrooms, living, dining, full kitchen, laundry, and a covered deck for a relaxing glass of wine as you get ready to face that big day.
Depending upon where you live, there are a lot of legalities that you have to follow before you ever start building. So
Right.
what are some things that just kind of wherever you live that this would work for?
Right. I mean, I think that you really have to check your, work with the county, understand what their guidelines are, because there are stipulations depending on what county that you work in or that you you live in or the venue is in. I think that the other piece of it is that you don't really realize from an insurance liability perspective, from a contractual perspective, when you're working with any potential guests, clients, or patrons, what some of the considerations that you have to take into place. And so early on, we actually worked with 2 different lawyers to make sure that we were doing things right by the county and the state. And then we also worked with a separate attorney who really worked with us to understand, do we have the right contractual language? Are we fair? We're a small little boutique. We want to be known as a small little boutique venue. And we wanted to be fair in our contract, very amenable, but yet, again, protecting both the clients and ourselves. So there's a lot that goes into that you just don't realize. And then it's everything else. Allow really for a bride, a groom, a church service, anyone to really have the ability to come out, and then we have the pavilion.
Oh my goodness, look how beautiful that is. Where did you find your church pews?
So it's been a little mixture of both. We had, there was one venue out of the Virginia area, and they were closing down, and we were able to purvey those from her. And just recently, we were able to get actual church pews from a real church, and those are in the barn getting finished right now as we speak, and they'll be ready for our wedding that we have on the 10th.
It's kind of like a feed bag. You start one thing and you go, oh, we got to build this, and now we got to build a road. And
well, exactly. It's really funny when you say, a feed bag. We weren't planning on a pavilion. The only reason that a pavilion got built was because when they ordered our trusses for our main barn, they sent the wrong trusses. So we were doing this, we were building this really in the dead of winter, and we were up to our eyeballs in mud. And the truss company said, I don't know if we can get these out until springtime, until this dries up. And I said, well, wait a second. What else could we use these for? I said, why don't we build a pavilion? So my husband and I said, let's do it. Let's build a pavilion. But you're right. It went from, I think, even early on when you saw the early makings of this, there were no roads. There wasn't any concrete. There really wasn't the really solid infrastructure. And I think now we've gotten to a really good place where I think it presents itself well and is very accommodating for the guests and the patrons that come here.
okay, this is gorgeous. This is here. Now, we mentioned that we were on the water, and you're having a ceremony down here. So if you don't want to be inside and you really want to have open air,
very much so,
you can come down here and take a look right along the creek. Isn't this beautiful? Oh my heavens, Andrea, what a gorgeous sight.
I think this was one of our favorite places, and our good friend Tim Baumgartner, who's a musician, has been so kind enough in his free time, which he has very little. We had a vision to build a deck down here, and he built, probably him and his son built, I think that Armageddon could hit and this deck will still be standing. But it's an absolutely wonderful, wonderful site for, wedding ceremony, pictures. We've done a ton of pictures down here. And we just wanted to, this is such a special place. Mm-hmm. We wanted to be able to share it and have people appreciate it as much as we did when we built it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I just have to look at this water one more time.
As you look at a piece of property, don't just think weddings. Sage Creek's website will really get you excited with ideas. Senior pictures, album shoots, family portraits, corporate events, rustic barbecues to upscale horse and buggy arrivals, celebrations of life, and even open-air church. Sage Creek's Andrea Sandifer is a visionary, creating just the right atmosphere for your perfect day. Find them online at sagecreekfarmtn.com or just give them a call at 615-390-4924.
If you're in search of a perfect summer cocktail, look no further than the red wine sangria. You're going to start off with a bottle of Amber Falls Winery Congria red wine. It is a dry Concord wine and it is perfect for sangria. You're also going to grab a bag of Lieutenant Blender's sangria in a bag. And then optionally, you can grab whatever fruit that you'd like to use. As you can see here, I have a variety of citrus, peach, fresh herbs, and even some cherries. On the side of the bag, we have two different options. One is for a cocktail, and that includes water, wine, spirits, and liqueur. And on the other side, we have an option with water and wine, and that's for the freezer, and that's the option we'll be doing today. Fill up your bag to the first line with water, and then pour a whole bottle of Amber Falls Congria right in and shake it up, and then throw that into the freezer. While that's in the freezer, you can go ahead and get your fruit ready. I just sliced everything thinly, and then a couple hours later, it'll be ready to serve. Enjoy.
1 hour from Nashville is a town you must visit, Granville, Tennessee. Home to T.B. Sutton General Store. Enjoy homemade food and shopping that is guaranteed to put a smile on your face. Every Saturday, make reservations and enjoy dinner and live local music. Step back in time in the 1880s Sutton Homestead. A storytelling guide will make history come alive as you hear about life in the 1800s. Visit Pioneer Village and see one of the first structures built in this community over 200 years ago. See craftsmen demonstrating the lost art of blacksmithing and basket weaving. Check out the Antique Car Museum featuring cars from specific decades in the garage of an original gas station. The Granville Museum tells the story of a small rural Tennessee riverboat town in the 1900s. Experience daily life including farming, military, and local history. Shop clothing, gifts, and hand-picked antiques. New items are being added every week. Spend the night at the Granville Bed and Breakfast filled with warm beds, large jacuzzis, and free breakfast. Come purchase handmade brooms and other fine crafts. Bask in the natural beauty of the riverfront at one of our parks. Surrounded by water, take a Granville riverboat tour, rent canoes and kayaks, and dine at the Granville Marina. Granville, Tennessee, a place you'll want to call home. Visit GranvilleTennessee.com for more information.
I'm the marketing director of Two Rivers Ford, and we are really excited to have the second annual My Old Ford get-together. We started a Facebook group called My Old Ford just to see how many cool old Fords are out here in our community, and we have a ton. So we decided this year to do our show in the TriStar All Ford Show. So we have a My Old Ford row in the middle of this amazing Ford show, and we are members and sponsors of TriStar Ford. So before we get started and we show you all these cool old Fords, I want to introduce you to Wade Hellman, who is the president of the TriStar Ford Group, and we're going to talk a little bit about what they do for all the Ford enthusiasts out there.
Thank you, Tammy. Hey, guys. I'll tell you, this is a great turnout today, and we've got over 170 cars here at the TriStar All Ford Show. We're really happy to have My Old Ford sponsored right up here in front. A lot of beautiful cars, a lot of old stuff that we get to look at and enjoy. TriStar Fords has been around for about 4 years. Started with 3 guys and just a few people, and now we've moved to about 137 active members in the group. So we have different events that we do all over the Middle Tennessee area and other areas across Tennessee. I would say if you're interested in being a member at TriStar Fords, hit us up on our website, tristarfords.com, or visit us on our Facebook page anytime if you're interested.
Thanks so much, Wade. Okay, guys, are we ready to go see some of these amazing old Fords? Let's go to My Old Ford Row. Follow me. All right, I'm so excited. We are going to start at the beginning of the My Old Ford row and introduce you to some of these amazing vehicles. You can hear some Mustangs in the background. But we have this incredible truck that I've seen before. First of all, what is your name?
Michael Wagner.
Oh, yeah. Nice to meet you, Michael. So tell us a little bit about this truck.
Well, it's a 1952 F1, and I just got it end of last year. And it instantly went into the shop and has been modified ever since.
Okay, we're standing here with Denise, and she looks like she belongs in this really cool Mustang. I am in love with this. I love the color. Denise, tell us a little bit about this car.
This car was given to me by my father. Well, he purchased it. Here's the original check. April 22nd, 1977. I was 13 years old.
Okay, we're here in front of this 64.5 Mustang. Tell us a fun fact about this car.
Well, it was built May 1st of 64, so it's a very early build. That's 2 weeks after they went on sale, so you're not going to find very many of them earlier build date.
I'm here with Emily and her daughter Vivian, who I know well, and I know that this is a very special car, so Emily, tell us a little bit about it.
We inherited this from Vivian's dad, and this was his other baby. And so we enjoy driving it pretty regularly around town.
Now, when you're a teenager, are you going to get to drive this car? So this is a very special Model A, and it has a very special story. So I want you to go ahead and tell us, Dave.
I bought this car from my friend Gary Reed. I drank coffee with him every day, and so Gary and I, we haggled over this car a little bit, and I wound up buying it. And the reason it's so special to me is because about a month ago, Gary was killed in a tractor accident, and so the car really means a lot to me.
Thank you for sharing that story. You know, a lot of these old Fords are actually legacies, and we really appreciate that. And here's to you, Gary. Thank you. I know it was bought on a Halloween night. Am I right?
Yep, 1969, and it was bought from what has now become Two Rivers Ford. It was Chapman Ford at the time. My parents bought it brand new off showroom floor.
That's amazing, and it's been in your family this whole time, right?
Whole time. Never been anywhere but our family.
What an amazing day checking out some of these old Fords and hearing their stories. Again, I'm Tammy Jacobs. I'm the marketing director of Two Rivers Ford. We're a local Ford dealership in Mount Juliet, just outside of Nashville. And we started a Facebook group called My Old Ford. So we'd love for you to join us if you have an old Ford or if you love old Fords at My Old Ford on Facebook.
Nestled in Nashville along the Cumberland River, Green Door Gourmet is a 350-acre organic farm, agritourism operation, and on-farm store. Green Door Gourmet grows a wide variety of fruits, flowers, vegetables, and herbs using holistic organic methods, providing our customers, including local restaurants and florists, with the absolute best direct from the field produce. Enjoy seasonal cut farm flower bouquets all summer long with our Green Door Gourmet Flower CSA. Farm field trips are offered March through October, as well as seasonal cooking classes and on-farm events such as our annual Fall Fest. Our on-farm store features Green Door Gourmet produce as well as products from our farm partners, the area's best local producers, including grass-fed meats, honey, jam, dairy, baked goods, and much more. Our local farm box program allows customers to take home a box with a variety of produce options based on what is growing at Green Door Gourmet. Join us in the spring for the You Pick Strawberry season. Our Countrypolitan White Oak Community Center is the perfect setting for weddings, meetings, farm-to-table and corporate events, and social occasions. Come visit Green Door Gourmet, just minutes from downtown Nashville.
Good morning. Here we are in the okra patch this morning. I'm going to talk a little bit about both red burgundy okra, which is on my left, and the Clemson spineless okra, which is on my right, the two varieties of okra that we grow here at Green Door Gourmet. It's beautiful. You can see from its flowers, it's a gorgeous plant to grow, but the great thing is those flowers give way to the pods that are so delicious to eat.
Okra can be quite itchy to most people. That's why even on the hottest of summer days, we all wear boots, long pants, long sleeves, and gloves when we're harvesting. When okra plants mature, they can reach 6 to 7 feet tall. But even when okra is small, it really wants to be productive. At this time, take off any lower leaves, and that encourages it to grow upward instead of outward. It's important to pick any large pods. This is going to tell the plant to make more pods. 2 to 3 inches is the perfect size for picking. Larger pods can be used for gumbo or maybe saving for seed. If they're too large, just pick them, toss them aside.
So, to pick the okra, a lot of people like to use scissors or pruning shears, small clips, but you really don't need them. So what you can do is you can just reach down. Now this is the perfect size pickling or eating pod, and you just reach down and you simply just pluck it right off. It's very simple. But if you happen to find a big guy that's been left and you think, oh, he's not really delicious, I can't eat him, he's not worth picking, the answer is you got to pick him off too, because he will stunt the plant's growth. By leaving a mature pod on the plant, it thinks, I've done my work and I don't need to make any more small little pieces of okra coming along because I've already done my work. So we're going to make sure we take care of this guy and assess him. And he is right at that point where I probably wouldn't use him for fried okra or anything that needs a tender piece of okra, but he is still great for gumbo. In addition to the green okra, which is our perennial favorite, we also grow the red burgundy okra. This particular variety is great because the seed pods can grow larger and still stay very tender. As this plant matures, the pod will push the flower all the way to the end until it becomes a little cap sitting on top of the okra. Under this cap, the okra stays green, but once sunlight hits it, it will turn burgundy red. When you pick the okra, be sure to take off the cap. If that cap is left on, it's going to make the okra soft and slimy.
Joie de vivre, and that's Cajun for the joy of life. Amber Falls Winery invites you to share our family heritage and to experience the fruits of our labor. We take the best that nature has to offer and give it our own special touch to create award-winning wines crafted just for you. Enjoy them in our underground tasting cellar or ask for Amber Falls wines at your favorite liquor store. Amber Falls Winery, Hampshire, Tennessee. We'll bring out the Cajun in you.
Oh, thank you for joining us for Devon's Table. And remember, like we always say, if you're looking for a blessing, you gotta first be one. I love it. Bye, everybody.
Can you feel lost in